How's it going, everyone? Relentless Gaming here, and we got another game of Legends of Runeterra. Here is my deck code, because today I am going to showcase this new deck that I just built. So in the previous video I showed a good beginner one, but this is more of like once you've been playing the game and you're seasoned a little bit more and you know how to use strategy now. So the first one was more focused on just overwhelming power. That's why I had Darius in there, and I had a lot of the high-powered cards that you can have that do overwhelming damage, which means that once you hit an opponent, if you still have more attack left, it'll go to their nexus. So it's just really focused on beating your opponent really early on to not drag out the game, but to just finish it as soon as possible. This deck is the opposite. It's meant to drag out the game as long as possible, and it's overwhelming in a different fashion, in the sense that you will never run low on cards. Because a really big thing that I was dealing with the old deck, that's more for the beginners and just trying to end the round early, is that people, they have strategies now and they have cards that can make them last later in the game. So I needed to adapt my deck to be able to follow that, because there was really I don't really have cards that can really get around that. So this is more of like, you don't have a lot of cards, but you're getting deeper in the game and you need to figure out a way to beat your opponent who drags out the game. So I have this deck that's really focused on being able to tank damage, because we have Vladimir in here and we have Braum in here. So we have spells and we have specific units and just cards to make our guys survive. And then we also have low cost units to be able to use for like as throwaway cards. So let's say they have a card that does a lot of damage. As long as it's not overwhelming damage, I can throw a Spiderling in there just to sacrifice, because let's say it does 6 damage, but Braum only holds 5 and I don't have him leveled up yet. Then it will kill the Spiderling and my Braum can still live. So it's mainly focused on survivability, and as you can see in this specific match, it's also focused on making sure you don't run out of units and cards, because you want to make sure you have a ton of cards to throw away and a ton of cards to use for survivability. That way your opponent doesn't just try to end the game early, because you really want to drag out the game until you can level up your guys. So this person in particular, I didn't even have to get to my Braum leveled up or to a Vladimir leveled up, because just the overwhelmingness of how many playable cards I have was enough to defeat him, because there was nothing he can really do. He had a hard time getting to my nexus, and he also had a hard time having enough playable champions to defend against mine. So that's just the great part about this, because you don't even need to necessarily play your champions for this deck to just be great for you. But yeah, so that's what the focus is for this deck. It's really fun to play. There's a lot of strategy behind it, and it feels like no matter what they throw at you, you can have an answer. I would say the only counter to this deck that I find that I have a lot of struggles with are decks that focus on throwing away their cards, so they benefit from cards dying. So if they have those little guys that once they die, they come back and they have more HP and more health, and they just keep doing that, then they can counter this deck pretty well. Also, if they have the card that makes it to where they get +1 attack and +1 defense for every card that gets thrown away or was defeated in battle, then that can counter this deck pretty well too, because you don't really have anything to counter something like that. So anything that really focuses on just throwing away your cards will counter this deck. Later on, I want to cover a video on how to play a deck like that. Right now, I don't have the necessary cards to play a deck like that, but when I do, I want to showcase that, and that'll be really cool. But yeah, so enjoy the rest of this video. Enjoy what this deck has to offer. If you want to know the code, it's in the beginning of this video, but if you want to, you can just look at the description. I'll have the code number there if you just want to copy paste it like that. Otherwise, just enjoy the rest of this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you want to see videos like this, and leave a comment. Tell me down below if there's like anything I can tweak to this deck that you think that would benefit it. Or tell me if you're able to use this deck and it's working for you and everything like that, because that would be great feedback too. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.